I'm Ryan from ExtremeTerrain.com, and in this episode of Throttle Out, we're going to dig into a feud that's been raging on the forums for the past 10 years, pretty much since the JK came out. Which is better on the trails, either the two-door JK or the four-door JK? Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can check out other great Jeep content videos like this one, as well as some other comparison videos that we've done, like a video comparing East Coast wheeling versus West Coast wheeling. But in order to get into the two-door versus four-door feud, we have out here a couple of our Jeeps from the fleet, of course the two-door and four-door JK, that are both similarly set up. They both have 3.5-inch JKS lift kits on them, they're both running 35-inch tires, and the four-door does have a little bit more armor on it, and that's for good reason. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But now, let's get out on the trails and see which one's going to do better. So first things first, and this is going to be the most obvious thing, a four-door JK is going to have a lot more space in it. We're bouncing down this trail. It's a pretty light trail, but we got this thing loaded up, a bunch of camera bags in the back. We got a couple of big full-grown cameramen here. You can see a guy in the back, guy in the front. We even have room for a fourth guy and all of our gear in this big four-door JK. And of course, in the two-door, not going to be the case. Trying to fit all this gear in there and a couple of guys is just not going to work. Now, trails like these are the type of trails that a lot of you guys are using your Jeep for. You're trying to get back and forth from a campsite, you want to be able to bring a bunch of gear and a bunch of friends, or maybe you just don't have any hardcore wheeling around you, so it's more dirt roads like this. And in that case, if you want to have a lot of extra space, the four-door is definitely going to be the winner. So the four-door Jeep obviously wins when you're talking about space and fitting more people in it. I don't think that was going to be a surprise to anybody, but as you can see by the terrain, we're in a little bit more of a hardcore off-road situation than we were when we were rolling down that fire trail. And this is where the two-door is going to be a little bit more beneficial. It has that nice compact wheelbase. You can get around corners a little bit easier, and you're not going to be dragging things on the ground quite as much as you will with the longer four-door. With the four-door, you're definitely going to want to make sure you have rock sliders and underbelly skid plates because, again, you do a lot more dragging due to the longer wheelbase. This Jeep, just running some factory skid plates, no rock sliders, and we're going to be able to get over obstacles without dragging quite as much. Now, that's not to say you don't need armor on your two-door. Armor is always a good thing. It's definitely going to give you some peace of mind and allow you to attack obstacles that you otherwise wouldn't, knowing you're not going to have any sort of damage, but it's not going to be quite as necessary on the more compact two-door. So a term you see thrown around a lot is breakover angle, and what that really is the angle between the front tire, the lowest point between the tires, and then the rear tire. And what that leads to in the real world is the ability to go over a hill, to crest a hill. With a more compact wheelbase like we have here on the two-door, you can go over a steeper hill, you can crest that hill without dragging the belly of the Jeep on the ground. With a four-door Jeep, that's not going to work out as well. As you can see here, you have the longer wheelbase. That angle between the tire, the center of the frame, and the front tire is going to be flatter, meaning that your breakover angle is also going to be flatter. You're not going to be able to get over as much without dragging the belly. And that's why we're talking about armor here. We're talking about rock sliders and underbelly armor. And you're going to want to have some more of that armor on your four-door because you are going to be dragging a lot more. What we're talking about here is more about the rock sliders. I wanted to get through an obstacle here, started bringing the big four-door in. I had to do a three-point turn to kind of get her set up in here. And now that we're set up, we're definitely going to be using those rock sliders between the tree and the rock on the other side of this obstacle. Something is going to be dragging. So like I said, we're going to try this obstacle here with the four-door JK. It's already been a little bit of work to get it positioned down in here. I'm going to go ahead and probably have to do at least one more K-turn to get it spun around. And like I said, chances are, and it's a pretty good chance, we're going to end up using those rock sliders. So let's see what we can do. It's definitely a little tight in this long wheelbase. Roll my window down so I can see my line a little bit because I have that tree on the left-hand side. Like I said, I have the sliders. I'm okay using them. Just want to make sure I know where everything is. Yeah. All right, so we made it through. It was eventful, we'll say. May have cracked not one, but two flares. Definitely rubbed the roof on the tree a little bit. Hopefully didn't remove any paint. That's a pretty gnarly obstacle. It was a lot of fun, and we definitely got to prove our point. We definitely showed that you need sliders, you need armor when you're trying to maneuver a big four-door Jeep around some of these sharper corners. So now we're gonna go ahead and attack the same thing with the two-door. It is pretty gnarly, so there's a chance that we might end up wishing we had some skid plates, but we're definitely gonna be in better shape than we are with that four-door having the shorter wheelbase in this Jeep. So let's see what happens.
Looking good right now. Yep, slowly.
So I could definitely hear it and feel it on the inside of the Jeep. We did not make contact on the rocker like we did with the four-door, and that was pretty much the same line all the way down to the body damage on the top. So that's a pretty good one-to-one, apples-to-apples comparison. Having that longer wheelbase definitely needed the rockers here. Trust me, I would have felt a little more comfortable with rock sliders, but we didn't need them. We didn't make contact. So the next thing we're gonna really illustrate here is underbelly skid plates and the importance of having them, or when you're in a two-door, how you don't necessarily need them quite as much. And really the thought process behind that is closely related to the breakover angle that we already talked about, and the fact that you can keep more tires up on the high stuff, up on the rocks with the two-door more of the time than you can with a much longer four-door. So that's what we're gonna illustrate here. Looking at this obstacle, chances are we're gonna end up using the factory skid plates that are on the two-door that I'm driving right now. But with the four-door, we're definitely gonna be glad that we have those aftermarket skid plates that are gonna be a little bit stronger and give us a little bit more coverage. So just came down very solidly on that transmission skid plate here in the two-door. Luckily, we didn't come down on it until we were about midway down the Jeep. And that is a testament to having that shorter wheelbase, but we are using those factory skid plates as they were designed for. And if we had a much larger, something like an oil pan transmission skid plate, something thicker, something with some nice countersunk bolt heads, you know, a really nice piece like we have on the four-door, I wouldn't be quite as worried about it. We'd be able to slide over and drag over those obstacles. So I'm gonna look to my spotter here. We're gonna see if we can't get off the belly pan skid plate that's on this Jeep from the factory, and we'll hop in the four-door and really illustrate how those skid plates slide over some obstacles. Like I said before, if the two-door drug, the four-door is definitely gonna drag, but we have some aftermarket skid plates on this one that's gonna give me a little bit more peace of mind and allow us to slide over without getting hung up quite as much. Not showing us anything we don't know here. We're definitely gonna drag, but I wanna hit the obstacle, so here we go. Oh yeah, that was nice and solid. It's definitely one of those things where, yeah, I know I'm protected underneath there. I know I'm not gonna punch through the oil pan. I know I'm not gonna do damage to the transmission, and all of that is great. But it's also the peace of mind of knowing that I can attack an obstacle like this in a long four-door where I know I'm gonna drag, know I'm not gonna do any damage, so I can just go out there, have fun, watch my spotter, take on the obstacle, and move on to the next one without ending the day. So the last obstacle we're gonna hit today is probably the most hardcore obstacle that we've done all day, and it's really going to illustrate getting high centered, using those belly pan skid plates, maybe a rock slider or two, just in general how that longer wheelbase is going to be a little bit tougher when you're going over these major obstacles, and how you're probably going to want to have some good armor in place when you do. So this obstacle, like I said, probably the most hardcore one that we've hit. I hit this with my TJ the last time we were here, and then tried it with a 4-door JK, and it was definitely a little bit more difficult. So right along the right hand side here is what we're gonna hit. I'm gonna hop in the 2-door and try it first. It should make it. Again, my TJ made it. This is roughly the same wheelbase, and then we'll give it a go in the 4-door. So that was still a little bit sketchy in the 2-door, but we were able to make it. We weren't dragging the bottom of the Jeep over anything. It was really just difficult because of the loose dirt and the snow on the rocks, but we were still able to make it. I think we're definitely gonna do a little bit more dragging, and it's gonna be a little bit more difficult in the 4-door. So let's give it a go. Now, like I've been saying all day, this thing's armored up. It's gonna slide over obstacles a little bit easier, which is definitely nice, but I still think the long wheelbase is just gonna be too much for this obstacle. It's pretty sheer, it's pretty steep up at the top, but hey, let's give it a go, see what happens. I can already tell you I'm way more into this tree than I was in the 2-door. Ooh, I definitely felt that. I'm sure you guys heard that. We came down really hard on what looks like the rock slider here, and that is a prime example of 2-door versus 4-door in a hardcore wheeling example like this. The 2-door did not have the same issue. The 4-door, it's a longer wheelbase. You're gonna get hung up more. Make sure you have your armor in place before trying something like this. All right, so we got hung up pretty hard on that rock slider. We're gonna go ahead and back off this obstacle here. Well, when you're going up an obstacle like that, the real danger comes in when you start spinning tires and you can get yourself sideways and end up toppling back down the obstacle, which is certainly something we didn't want to do. We probably could have stacked some rocks. I could have tried a different line. We could have hooked up a winch line. There are always ways to give you a better shot. But what this video is all about is really illustrating the differences between the 2-door and the 4-door. And I think that right there did it. We came down hard on those rockers because this thing has a longer wheelbase. The 2-door made it through without a problem. So that's gonna do it for this video. I think we did a really good job of pointing out the big differences between the 2-door and the 4-door JK, and if you're doing some more hardcore wheeling, I would say that the 2-door is going to take it. It makes it over those obstacles that much easier than that 4-door is going to. If you have the proper armor and the proper gear on your 4-door, you can slide over those obstacles, but you're gonna clear them a lot easier in a 2-door JK. That being said, if you're just running those fire trails, you're getting back and forth to the campsite, you need to carry a lot of gear and have a lot of people, obviously the 4-door is gonna take it. So in the end, it's really up to you. It just depends on how you're gonna be using your Jeep. And the most important thing is that you're in a Jeep, you're off-road, and you're having a blast. So make sure you subscribe to your YouTube channel. You're gonna be able to check out more comparison videos like this, a bunch of product review videos, and the best Jeep videos out there.